Welcome to the Balsa, your boat to the wonders of the world. Today, we're crossing the ocean to the land down under. I'm sorry if my voice sounds a bit off in this video. Trees are blooming and my allergies are going a bit haywire. Let's kick this adventure off by talking about one of the weirdest animals on the planet, the platypus. I'm sure you've at least heard about Australia's oddball animal, even if it's just from Disney's Phineas and Ferb. While most platypuses, as far as I know, aren't actually secret agents, their biology can seem just as far-fetched. In fact, when George Shaw, an English botanist and zoologist, first described the platypus in Nature's Miscellany in 1799, he was skeptical that it wasn't a hoax. He went so far as to examine the platypus pelt for signs of taxidermy stitches, believing that a duckbill had been sewn onto the body of some mammal. After all, the thing looked like it belonged in a traveling oddities collection. As the English scientist soon discovered, platypuses are indeed very real and very strange. The animal looks like an amalgamation of leftover parts, with a duck bill and feet, a beaver tail, and an otter body. You also can't forget the male's venomous stingers and the fact that it's a mammal that lays eggs. Platypuses live in freshwater wetlands in eastern Australia and Tasmania. This range takes them from hot and humid rainforests to the cold mountains of Tasmania and the Australian Alps. The platypus's dense, waterproof fur allows them to insulate from cold environments. Platypuses have 2 layers of fur, one for insulating and one for waterproofing. These 2 layers of fur trap warm air close to the animal's skin. This serves a dual purpose, to keep the platypus warm and buoyant. This is incredibly important if you consider that the platypus can spend up to 12 hours underwater every day looking for food. In addition to their layers of fur, platypuses have a network of intertwined veins and arteries in the pelvic region called the rete mirabile, the miraculous network. The rete mirabile is an internal heat exchange system. Cooled blood returning to the heart from the legs and tail absorbs warmth from the blood being pumped to the legs and tail through the arteries. Platypuses are so well adapted to cool environments that it is easy for them to overheat. If a platypus is out of the water or their burrow for an extended period of time, it can enter a state of torpor, which drops their internal temperature, and the platypus will stay inactive in its burrow for about 6 days. Platypuses are bottom feeders. They can hold their breath for up to 2 minutes, so they'll make a series of short dives of 30 to 60 seconds. These dives are usually under 16 feet or 5 meters, but they have been observed reaching depths of 26 feet or 8 meters. Their diet consists primarily of insect larvae, shrimp, freshwater crayfish called yabbies, and worms. As they hunt, platypuses store prey in their cheek pouches to eat at their leisure on the surface. Platypuses do not have teeth, so they grind their food using mouth pads made of keratin, a fibrous protein that is also found in hair, feathers, hoofs, and horns. Platypuses will scoop up bits of gravel and mud while hunting to use with their mouth pads to facilitate chewing. While underwater, platypuses close their ears, eyes, and noses, so they use their bills for navigation and hunting. Unlike a duck's bill, platypus bills are soft and pliable. The bill is covered in push rods that are sensitive to touch, pressure, sound waves, and motion. The bill is also covered in 40,000 electroreceptors. Platypuses move their heads back and forth over the ground to detect and catch prey. Platypuses have countershading coloration. Their dark brown backs help them blend with the murky water bottom and from anything looking from above. Their bellies are white, blending with the sky for anything looking from below. This is a camouflage technique commonly seen in water-dwelling animals like sharks, rays, and fish. Platypuses have a creamy white patch of fur below their eyes, which makes it look like the animal's eyes are open when swimming, reducing the risk by a predator. If you've made it this far into the video and haven't already, like and subscribe to the channel for more wild videos. This really helps out a new channel like this. Thanks! Platypuses have small eyes with round pupils. The eyes are similar to most mammal structures, but have some reptilian features, such as a double retinal cone to see in color. The lens is flat in the front and curved in the back, allowing for better vision underwater. A study from Yale University in 2011 found that platypus eyes are enclosed in a type of cartilage that's usually seen in sharks, lungfish, birds, and amphibians. Platypuses usually live in burrows along the water's edge, but they sometimes make their home under rock ledges, roots, and debris. Pregnant females will dig what are called nursery burrows, deep, complex burrows with multiple chambers and entrances. Platypuses are one of 5 living mammal species, called monotremes, that lay eggs. When the female platypus is ready to lay her eggs, she will seal herself in her nursery burrow. Platypuses usually lay 1 to 3 eggs. The female then keeps her eggs warm by incubating them. While gestation can take 2 weeks to a month, the incubation period usually takes about 10 days. The mother platypus will only leave the nursery burrow to wet her fur and defecate. The newborn platypuses, called puggles, are about 1 inch or 2.5 centimeters long and totally helpless. Unlike most mammals, platypuses do not have teats. Instead, the milk is released through pores on their skin that pools in grooves on her abdomen, which the puggles drink. The mother will nurse the young for 3 to 4 months until they can swim on their own. Male platypuses have poisonous spurs on their hind legs that connect to a venom gland located over their thighs. The spurs release enough poison to kill a medium-sized dog. While not fatal to humans, the venom creates excruciating pain and swelling. The venom is more plentiful during breeding season. Scientists believe that males will use their spurs to defend their mates and resources from rival males. Taking everything I've told you into consideration, one of the strangest things I've learned about platypuses is that they are biofluorescent. A study published in Mammalia in 2020 found that when platypuses are put under a black light, their fur grows blue-green. While studying biofluorescence in flying squirrels at the Field Museum in Chicago, they emit a pink glow from their fur on their bellies, in case you were wondering. Researchers decided to see what other species in the museum's collection also had biofluorescence. Since platypuses, like flying squirrels, were nocturnal, they made a likely candidate for biofluorescence. And as Eric Olson, a co-author of the study, told Live Science, who doesn't want to examine a platypus specimen? At the moment, researchers do not know what function the biofluorescence serves. It's possible that platypuses use the biofluorescence to interact with other species, but further research is required to test the hypothesis. The San Diego Zoo is the only zoo outside of Australia to house platypuses. In preparation for their platypuses, the San Diego Zoo built a dedicated platypus house. This platypus house is unique in a couple of ways. First, since platypuses are nocturnal, the light cycle is reversed. Guests walk into a dark house and are able to view the platypus's active behavior. Secondly, the platypus house time is synced with that of Sydney, Australia. They want the platypuses to feel and experience the same sunlight they would in the wild. In Australia's summer, when they have longer days, the system adjusts the lighting period to reflect the seasonal changes. If you want to check out the platypuses yourself and don't live in San Diego, never fear. The San Diego Zoo set up a live cam, so you can watch the platypuses to your heart's content. I'll leave a link to the live cam in the description and in my sources. According to the International Union for the Conservation of Nature, platypuses are considered near threatened with a decreasing population. Platypus populations face threats from bushfires, deforestation and urbanization, drought, pollution, and predation. Water infrastructure also impacts platypus populations. Dams redirect rivers, destroying platypus habitat. Over the past 30 years, platypus habitat has shrunk by 22%. These threats have led to platypus population extinction in several areas of Australia, including the Royal National Park in Sydney. In 2018, testing on an innovative conservation technology called environmental DNA, or eDNA, began. Aquatic animals like platypuses release DNA into the water through urine, feces, and dead skin cells. Water samples are processed to extract, amplify, and identify the DNA found in the sample. eDNA can be detected in water samples for up to several weeks, depending on external factors. Depending on the needs of the researchers, this methodology can be used to track individual animals or an entire community. There are ways that you can help platypus conservation. If you have the means to do so, consider donating to a platypus conservation organization. I recommend checking out the Taronga Conservation Society, the Australian Conservation Foundation, and the San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance. I'll leave links to these organizations in the description box and in my sources. Sharing the platypus story with family and friends helps inspire others to care about conservation and take proactive steps. This could be as simple as bringing it up over a cup of coffee, posting about platypuses on social media, or even sharing this video. If you live in Australia, take part in the Platy Project. Whenever you spot a wild platypus, record what you see and upload it to the Australian Conservation Foundation. This data is vital in conservation management. I'll drop a link to the Platy Project in the description below. That's all I have on platypuses for today. Thanks for joining me in the balsa. Remember to like this video and subscribe to join us on more expeditions. If you have a video request, comment below or email me. That information, along with the sources for this video, are in the description box below. I'll see you on our next adventure.